Restoration. We bring you greetings on Restoration with Stacey. Thank you to La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, Yaz Washing Powder, Yaz Sanitary Pad, Hooch Con and Choco Flakes, Das Capital, GTP, and of course to you, our viewers and our studio audience, you always are the reason why we keep reigning as the #1 television talk show. Thank you going out to Ophelia of ABS Collection for my outfit. Ophelia is located at Dansuman Zodiac near the MTN office. And you can also go to Rojuan Hair Studio, Dakuman Kokompe Eye Clinic to get this beautiful Caribbean twist that I'm rocking. This is done by Roji Hair Studio and it was styled beautifully by Abiba Lux. Abiba Lux is at East Legon near the ANC Shopping Mall. And my makeup is by Divine Cassie. Fame isn't something that comes easy. Some people work for it. Some people just get it by chance. And some people, when they do get it, do not know how to manage it. Some can just not sustain their fame. Our guest today, for the past 24 years, has made a conscious effort to remain relevant in his career. We all fell in love with him, and I know when I sing this line, you're all going to scream. Mejeimo, enyomno, monsisa, monsisa. Oh, our guest today is Tic Tac. Have a seat. So I called you Tic Tac because really, for some of us old school, you're Tic Tac. I mean,
I thought that's nice.
But for the new school, it's Tic.
Right.
First of all, why did you take the tac out?
Yeah, Tic Tac is something that has been great, but all along I've been living with Tic, in my music. Going forward, if you listen to my first album, first song, you still hear Tic.
Tic. So now tac is on retirement.
Yeah, it's in my pocket.
Oh, man, yes, sir. So let's start with you. You're one of the few people who had a taste of fame at a very young age.
Right.
When did you discover that talent?
Well, I would say that I discovered that at the age of, let's say, 10. 10, 11, 10, 9, 10. And it was all because my love for music was enormous. I mean, like, for example, my father and my mom and my uncle, my family, they love music. I mean, like, they'll be playing Sweet Mother, at different times. And you'll be hearing Phil Collins, I Can Be Your Bodyguard, and they'll be playing amazing songs. I remember some of the songs will heal me when I'm sick.
Wow.
Like Phil Collins had a song that he said, I'll be back again, na 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 na. Yeah, and I'll listen to that song and I'll be healed. Like, don't say, if you feel to me,
Hey.
Yeah, and my dad was a seaman and he goes to sea and he would bring a bunch of cassettes from Kenny Rogers to, I'm talking about classical music. So my love for music was great. And funny enough, we went to live in Dansoman. And right by my side of my house, we had the fish band, the fish pot, and they play live band every day. So one day I told my daddy, I want to try and do it. And he took me to the leader of the band at that time was the Raskwabena Malenzi. And he said to him that my son wants to try out with you guys. And he said, okay, learn some, raga or rap in some of the songs that we want to learn. And then you can come up when it's time.
It's time.
So, they gave me copies of some songs. One of the songs that I could remember that I really got it well was Chakademos and Pliers.
Oh.
So when it's time, people will not know that I'll come. We'll be playing it.
You'll be at the back.
I'll appear. You pretty back karata Jamaican elevator. But you say you're pretty. Can you say you're pretty? They say yeah.
It's well by danger.
Yeah. So I would follow them. My dad would drive me to like Kumasi when they have a gig there, to Ningo Pram when they had a gig. I can remember. And then so from there I started developing the writing skills, and then I formed a group called the Natty Strangers. So that's how it all started.
And you had your time on Kid Fest and
Yes,
all those blogs.
The Kid Fest thing was from Fun World. Fun World was like, if you go on Fun World, it's like you are.
If you ain't gone on Fun World, you ain't gone nowhere.
That's it. So, but when I went to Fun World, my first 2-3 performances, they all marked me and said, "No, this boy is promised for greatness." And so we will go for Fun World and we will not rehearse again. Akoto and Auntie Koko and them lot will say, "Natty Strangers, you are not rehearsing today because your art, you know your art too much." And it was because we used to rehearse at home, and we used to make sure we had it tight before we go for rehearsals. So anytime we appear, they could sense that, no, these guys are on point.
Ready.
Right. So I became a toast, of the fans at Fun World. And so, of course, if you are doing Fun World and you are a hit at Fun World, then you'll be doing Kid Fest. So I was transferred to do Kid Fest a few times. And through that is when I won one of the rap competitions that Aziza was the host. And he promised to feature the winner. And I won it, hands down. So he had no choice.
That was the Wiyebia track.
That was how come I got my mainstream breakthrough.
Wow. Was it a big deal for you then? Because Azigiza at that time was the deal. So for a young chap like you, getting on a big song with a big guy, I mean, was it not intimidating enough?
No, it wasn't. For me, I was ready to take whatever opportunity that may come my way, because I am the type that, I had this zeal that people in our country say is too known. So I would always make sure I brag about whatever opportunity I get, and I'll always make sure once it comes to me, I make it hard. So I was always ready. And so when it presented itself, it was like what I wanted. And I could tell you that at that time, there were other artists or other great rappers that could have won it. But, I had a technique, and that many could, say you were like Pastor Rhyme and all that. So that was something exceptional. So once I got that challenge, I felt this is my time. And so I took it and I made sure I turned it into gold. And I remember that when we were supposed to record the first song, it was Party Riders.
Okay.
Zagidi Bogidi. He came up to me in our area and said, "Oh, it's time. Azigiza wants me to come to the studio." So we called Azigiza and said yes. He gave us a day. And I was at school and the time was up and I had to leave school, give some kind of excuse.
Flimsy excuse.
And then leave. And then when I got to the studio, I realized that it was the studio of one of the greatest ever, to emerge in our music industry, in a person of legendary Charles Samoa.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, Ghana Michael Jackson, I'm like, what the heck, And
with the Jerry Curls
with the Jerry Curls, and he demands perfection, he's such a perfectionist. And when he got the beat and when I heard the beat and I heard the way, he's always on time, and I said, oh my God, if I mess up, this man will sack me from this studio. So you could imagine how I wanted to make sure I do everything well. So when I busted my first line, they all went into, I don't know the word to use.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, they are feeling it. And then I got the energy to kill it, right?
So within that time, you were still in school. Was it not challenging for you? Because back then it was rumored, because of your fame and the extent at which you had to do shows, you were not really having a lot of time for your books.
Yeah, I mean, that is right. But I knew what I wanted, and I was always ready for whatever that was going to come my way. So long as I could continue with my music, everything was like a secondary thing to me. But one other thing was that I wanted to develop I wanted to develop my brain so that I could absorb anything, so I wasn't thinking of becoming like, yes, I wanted to be a lawyer. So, but then after a certain time, I was thinking, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. I just want to make sure that I have good brains. I am smart enough to be able to determine how I want my life to go. So I made that decision. And so nothing would let me feel like, oh, I didn't go to school today, so I'm feeling down. No, I said to myself, look, I am going to complete school. I am going to be a musician, and I am going to stay as a musician till I die.
Well, so you had that mark for yourself.
Right, at that age.
So nothing else really mattered.
So I would not care. I mean, I didn't have a car, and I was the youngest star. And so, when you are going to hit your trotro, it's a problem. Your girlfriend at school is taking taxi, and you are hitting the trotro.
Yeah, trotro, and you're taking
And then when the traffic light comes on red and her car is parked and your trotro and you are in the big window, the trotro at the back, and then you are praying, oh my God, we shouldn't go up, and then you go up and she turns and you're like, hey, and it was all cool. But I knew that, I was destined for greatness in music.
In music.
So nothing was going to deter me from doing that.
Philomena.
Estramina.
Uluki Fly. That song, what was the motivation?
Well, when I was in Datus, there used to be...
Oh, you're a product of Datus?
Yeah, Datus,
Okay.
Pubuyashi. When I was in Datus, there used to be like all these market women, and they used to be huge. I don't know if they exist, but that many. And the trotro, I was so smallish. Look at me now. Now that I'm even a big boy. So I was so smallish. And every time I cheer will get me into trouble. So when I do that, I'll go under somebody, because they had big pan, and they always had their hands on the pants like this. And sometimes, Miss Romika, but it's like sometimes, when you go under it's too much, So I said, when I have the opportunity, one day I'll sing about this. So luckily enough, in my area, there was a guy, I think he's a Kobe or something. One day I was coming from school and I heard him saying, Philomena Kwetinge, Philomena Kwetinge. And I said, or was he just saying Kwetinge, something? I said, come on, this is a vibe.
This is a take.
I'm telling you. So I said, Charlie, I went close. I said, sing it again. And he sang and I said, okay, thank you. And I went home.
Copyright, actually.
And I went home and I went to put Philomena and I went to put all the personal hygiene thing, because then I was saying Petinge can be juba, because and then I put it all together and then I added the just to signify what I wanted to portray.
So really, people were crazy about the song, and they were not. I'm sure most people did not even get to understand that you're talking about personal hygiene.
Yeah, it was about personal hygiene.
And so when you're done,
and we were, like, even me, sometimes when I'm really daring, like, if I want to do something that is like over what my ability, and I really want to grind to make it happen, I have a lot of hair, like, naturally, by the time I'm away, I'm all over. You understand? Everywhere. You have Philomena your life. Yeah, and then somebody need to bring my attention, like, to say that, okay, maybe your woman will just say, okay, perhaps, I'll take, that's why you feel. They'll say, hey, So it's something, but some people do not also take good care of themselves, and they develop juba, krodoso, and all that. A crow.
Mampuli.
Hey, unimo. So that's how it was.
Well, and how did that song change your life?
You want to talk about that song? Massive change. I think it's a blessing from above. But until that song, I had done a song with Slim Basta. That gave me so much blessings. Yeah. I mean, all I would do was just to follow Slim Basta and go and perform that song. And I was becoming so much popular.
And you're making money?
Not really. You're
not getting paid?
No. At that time...
It was for the fame?
Yeah. I was just a rapper that had gone on Slim Basta's song. So... If I have to go with Slim Basta...
Was that Masanaba?
Yeah. Mine was just to appear, make my name, and sometimes Slim will just give you something for
Transport.
Yeah, transport. But I wasn't bothered.
Yeah.
And I at that time, some people would even say that, oh, Jiska now my hit say now is it. All I need is Slim Bastard for him to take me to a restaurant after show.
Fried rice.
We eat fufu and
you know he's your brother that you can walk in anytime.
I mean, the vibing with Slim was like huge for me. Yeah, just that was okay, you know. But I got my eye on my one, which was the Philomena, like you were saying. So when I had that song, and Abraham Ohinijan heard that song, he said, this song is going to blow. So we worked on the song with Slim Basta. And of course, when it came out, it took a long time because Ghana was not ready for such a music.
Yeah.
If it was to be this time, that song was not going to blow because people would not have time for it to dawn on them. So it took like a year. And we had to start from Nkransan Techiman. I remember Doma.
And I remember back then, if your song is a hit from the hinterlands, automatically
by the time you get to Accra, it's bumping.
Yeah.
So that's where we started. Chiman, Doma, Nkro, Bebieni, and all those things. We did show. We could do a show there, myself or Bradford, General Marcus. And sometimes you see just two people will come there and I will be performing for them. And you know the funny thing, there was this guy, I can't forget him. He came to our concerts, all the concerts. We were new, we weren't that popular. We're now promoting our
yourself and a Bradford.
When they mention our name, it's like people just want to come. Maybe it's just some rappers. Then we're rapping. One guy, when I sing one song, he'll buy one club. And when our Bradford sing one song, he'll buy one club. So if I was singing, let's say 6 songs, because I didn't have that much songs, our Bradford will sing 6. So how much?
12.
You have 12. So he drank 12 club.
Whoa. And
then he said, Muntina mewaha, obi amakra issue. And he was such a crazy fan.
That was some motivation.
Right. So that's how we promoted Philomena. And then when I got to Accra, we realized that was it Mary Merrill was so huge.
I think it was Merrill first.
Yeah, Mary Merrill. It was so huge that Philomena was so different. The DJs would play a certain type of music. And they couldn't mix. So we were struggling. And then Lord Kenya also dropped, Obi Yobim Pina, and then it was so hot. So I was wondering how Philomena was going to blow. But we had already released it. And then, funny enough, we kept on going for interviews, pushing. And then one day, Philomena was all over.
I remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month. Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away. Easy.
Yes, comfort, I got. Yes, confidence, I got. Yes.
The new Yas extra long sanitary pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi. Is it supposed to be that time of the month?
Yes. I got. Yes, confidence, I got.
Yes.
We got yes protection. I got.
Yas extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
We got yes protection.
We're looking for you, the next millionaire. We know of your stressful routine. From those 12-hour flights across the Atlantic to your hustle through traffic every day. From burning the midnight oil to that laptop that never sleeps. We know where you are in life, and we know where you want to go. Let us take you there. Thinking investment? Think Dusk Capital. Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Every day, I try to create something new, but I always remember my roots. Modern grooves meet traditional beats. That's how my music speaks. That's why I love my Lux, traditional fragrance with a modern twist of floral beauty oil for soft, fragrant skin. My roots, my modernity. It's all a part of me.
I am Nandi Matita. I am more than you can see, just like Lex.
This be Madame Rosa. She be diva of all hairstylists. She knows say I day here.
Hello.
Hey, No problem. This one, it be cool chop cra. After all, I be Royal King Cracker, made with real milk butter and the goodness of wheat to keep you going. To all you busy bees,
I did for you.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
I love to eat a tasty breakfast in the morning. Something delicious and healthy, filled with vitamins. That's my day right, makes me so bright. Keeps my body happy. Let me tell you about what I eat. It's my secret. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Wow! I say hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Crunchy!
But I think what also worked for Philomena was the video.
Yes.
It was different.
Yes, up to today, until today.
Yeah, the video was very different.
The video was supposed to give it another vibe. And Abraham always wanted something spectacular. So they decided to give something nice to the music. And you know Step of what's the name of Solid Studios was the one that worked on the cartoons.
Okay.
And together with Ignis.
Oh, Ignis Hego.
Ignis was working for Abraham. So they worked on the video, and of course, it was Abraham's idea. And then Abraham shot the video and put it all together. And we had a fantastic video.
Wow.
And that video was an eye-opener for, let's say, maybe our industry. Yeah, because I hadn't seen anything like that since I had started singing in Ghana until I saw that video.
Let me ask, looking at how the trend is going now, sometimes you have regrets on starting this movement, because what we have now, hip life, Afro pop, however they want to call it, it was a movement. It was, let me take it from TH for Kwajas, Achiame, Book Bag, VIP, Tic Tac, or Bravo. These are the legends, Reggie Rockstone, of the whole hip life. Nananom.
I mean, if you want to mention
Sasquatch. I mean, this were the
Funky
click.
Functure.
This were the click. If you look at where you guys are coming from in terms of content and the entertainment to what we have now, do you feel like Mabrego?
Well, Stacey, I know the Jama consumers, because I don't want to worry about that anymore. That is something we can worry about it maybe when we are old, when we are like 100 years or 94 years. Because you see, I tried to do that and it didn't help me because it rather pushed me down.
Then they paint you as
yeah,
the
it
devil.
pushes you down because people do not understand when you speak because where you're coming from. So I have stopped doing that and I'm free, you know. So I don't regret anything. There's generational thing. If the generation wants to bump to this, hey, let's go. You know, like, but I maintain certain qualities because I am from somewhere and I'm going somewhere.
You're going
somewhere. So I know what to do. Like, for example, when I had my new single, I had Bonkuto, and people are laughing. And I'm rather laughing at them because they don't know who they are, you know? And if you're a Ghanaian and you are, for example, I am Ashanti, and you know what Bonkuto is, you appreciate the fact that I could bring it to modern urban music and try to relate with the youth so that we can preserve some of these beautiful games that we've had in our lives as Ghanaians. So for me, I'm always proud to do things like that. But then it comes back to the new generation.
Sure.
So, I mean, for me, I just try my best and do what I feel is best for my music and for the consumers. So, but as to worrying about whether we've worked and blah, 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 I don't worry at all. But I always maintain one thing, as in who I am and what I stand for.
Your identity.
Right. And not stealing or trying to confuse or distort history, you know, and I always try to maintain that. So wherever I find myself, if somebody is saying something and it's not the real thing, I try to correct it And because of that, I want to write a book because some of the books I have read have missed most of the major captions for our music, urban hip life music, journey. And some are cutting corners. And I think some of us are people who really lived it. We didn't come from somewhere. We lived it and grew the thing. So we have more to say than some others who perhaps jumped into it and joined the wagon.
As an artist, there are so many things you go through. There are times you would have your breakdowns. There are times you're not even sure of yourself because of what the consumers perceive
of you.
And most people would just vamoose. You not even hear from them again.
Right.
But you have a way of just coiling in and coiling out.
Right.
But when you coil out,
right.
you're better than you were previously.
Right.
Because after Philomena and all the money and the awards and everything, you coiled in for a while. Then you came back and you set a blaze. I call you a trailblazer.
Right.
Because when you came back, you were not interested in what they were doing.
Right.
But you said, how can I move this game to the next level?
Right.
And decided to jump into Nigeria and do collaborations with Nigerian artists that Ghanaians were not so even familiar with.
Right.
And that was with you and Tony Tetula, which is Fefenefe.
Right.
And you had been quiet for so long, but it was an instant hit. What compelled you to even say, Ghana, let me move the game
to the next level.
Higher than it is.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. You just
and you were actually the first of the hip life people to do it.
You just nailed it, Stacey. I'll do it again.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I am somebody that, like I said, I believe in myself so much that, Charlie, it's you are telling in my face that I'm useless, and I'm telling you don't know what you're saying. Because I am somebody who, I'll go somewhere and somebody will say, "Metrim," and I'm saying, but what about you? As for you, nobody even knows you. You understand? So, my mentality is so determined that if you are around me and you are not that type of person who wants to go and get things done and prove to yourself that you've challenged yourself and you've won, you can't walk with me. Because the challenges that I'll take upon myself are huge. Sometimes you can't even imagine. Thank you. So for me, going to Nigeria was a plan that I set up. And I told the label that I wanted to go international. And I couldn't imagine that I am singing in Ghana and Togo is just behind me. And perhaps maybe I'm not popular in Togo. It's a shame. And then we have Francophone and Anglophone. We have Nigeria, which we all know had such huge market.
The biggest market.
Then, and we had Senegal, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and all that surrounding us. So I just decided to extend my tentacles. And when I launched Take Goals International, people thought it was a joke. But they saw me featuring legendaries, people who are big in France, etc., in Africa, Francophone, like Freddie Mayway, on Wope, Tuve, and etc. I did with Two-Face. I did with a lot of artists from Nigeria. But the biggest one, of course, was with Tony Tetula, who was also at that time the Golden Boy of Africa.
Yeah.
That was his tag. And I did it because I was built to perform in Nigeria.
And you needed that big song.
Right. I had gone to Nigeria because I was billed. I was called and paid to go and perform. And then I went to perform and I met Tony Tetula.
Oh.
And he was also performing with his band. And I was like, oh, this guy is good.
Let me take
you can ask Lord Kenya. I think he was also on that show. And I went again. Let me tell you one thing about me. Every lounge that I went to, they will call me again. And they will call me again and again. Because I will always go with a craft. I'll go with something to stick in their minds that they want more. So on some of my visits, I met Tony again, and he was like, oh, I liked your show the other time. I was like, yo, I liked yours as well. But yo, listen, I like your style. Let's do a song. And he was like, yeah, great, you see. So I came to Ghana. I got Quick Action, who legendary Afro Moses had introduced to me and said, this guy is a good beat maker. So I said, let me try you. And then we went to the studio. We just used MIDI. We created the beat. I took it to Nigeria.
That was some beat.
And then we got Omololu to do the beat finally. And the girls were also Nigerians.
Oh.
And so I showed them how to sing the tree. And then we had a fantastic song. And then what I decided to do was not just to do a song like recently people do. So maybe I'm going to say this, like where people just collaborate and they think it will happen. No. What I did was I did the song and I had a contract signed between the two of us. And I decided to tell Tony Totula, you promote this in Nigeria. And I promote it in Ghana. And then
it's a win-win.
Right. And then I also decided to, at that time, put my label, which is Goodies Music, sign with Kenny's Music.
Okay.
You
so
know?
It's a marriage.
Right. So that they can continue to promote my music and his music. Now, we were all going to benefit because of the territorial exchange. And so for me, I thought it was a wise thing. And you know what? Do you know what happened? It gave the opportunity for a lot of Ghanaian songs to be the main songs in December in Nigeria. How about that? So somebody like Boli was a big export.
You may kiss the bride.
He was a big star in Nigeria. Maybe he didn't know, but he was so huge with that song, just that song. And one other lady that was so huge that I told him every day was, I'll be 16 years. I will be like this. So if you tell Miss Bell, she was so huge. And VVIP smashed it. So, and then, Kwani and the rest were also big.
Came in.
Yeah, so yeah. And then in 2010, I followed it up with Boswe, Eje Kajo, which was another big song, Kangaroo, big song in Nigeria and Africa. So that's how I started.
You see, with all these things you're doing, yes, you as the person has the mindset. But for a musician, for a star like you, some people would say, oh, maybe he has something that pushes him. I might call my something God. Somebody might call their something. What pushes you? What power pushes you?
Oh, of course, it's Jehovah God, the Almighty. I believe so much in God, but then something whispers in my ears and it tells me to do something and I do it. See? And sometimes at the time that thing will whisper to me is the time that it feels like it's impossible. You understand? Yeah. And that is the voice I always hear. So once I feel that way, I can even fight whoever is around me just for not believing in what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
And if you don't believe in what I'm saying, then I cannot work with you. You can't be my friend. So then I become a lone ranger most of the times because after a while, some people do not believe in what I'm saying and they think it's true, no, I'm yobbing, and I have to just give them space. And so you realize I become alone, So most of the time I become alone, So the people who are close to me will be maybe my sister, my brother, or my woman, or maybe my mom and my dad who also believe. So that's the way I am.
So you're a true believer in the power of God.
Yes,
and what God can do for somebody if you believe.
Yes. Because I have so much dreams. I'm a dreamer. I dream a lot. And when I dream, I have to do something about it because
it will happen.
Yes, most of the times. Yeah.
There's something people didn't know. People think when you're doing hip life or hip hop,
no, not at all. Not at all. I learned the Bible dito. Because I'm from that Jehovah's Witness background.
Okay, then you know the Bible.
Exactly. Where my mom, my father, my uncle is Osomfo, my this is that, and they all
you
have
baptized?
Positions. No, but I try to practice, the life and style.
I just love that belief.
Right.
It's good so that the young ones out there will know that Tick is not just working because he's Tick.
Yeah, let me tell you a story.
Jehovah God with him.
Let me tell you a story. Someday, some guy said to me that apparently there was this thing going around that I had a ring because I used to have a ring and it was there for a very long time. And they said that.
That's your juju.
And they said that, they say when I'm going to perform and I see that it's becoming difficult, I will give it to my manager to kiss. As soon as she kissed the ring, that's it, fire. And I said, where did you get all all these things from? And so they will also go and try to look for juju to do music.
To do music.
Because
and it
there's been
doesn't
stories that we do juju and drugs and like, hey, it's amazing.
But have you ever done drugs?
Never in my life.
Alcohol?
Alcohol, yeah, maybe wine recently,
Mm-hmm.
but until a very long time, I had never tasted alcohol. And smoking, never. Not even a stick of cigarette.
Wow.
You know, so that's just the way I am.
Wow.
But my image is always yeah, but my image is always deceiving.
Yeah, very deceptive.
Deceptive. And I remember that one day I was going to PS and my auntie saw me and said, "Hey, mekachiro mami," and that was it.
That was who's wrong, mommy?
You know, because
no,
because she gave me the opportunity to do music and become what I wanted to be. She could have easily stopped me from doing it, you know. So I remember that when we were going to shoot Azigiza Uyebia, I was playing gata to gata in my area in Dansuman, and one guy saw me and said, "Ha, ubo gata to gata, you go chow video." And I didn't know because I wasn't invited, you know. And when I went to my mom, said, "Hey, any dry in Tentem," and she went to bring me some Shadaway my auntie had brought from the US, and she gave it to me and gave me money to drop into Lipo Lips
to do the video.
And when I got there, Baba, you know, and I greeted him. He's like, "Hey, take welcome," as if I've been invited. And I saw Achiame and Lord Kenya, and they were all there, so meaning they were invited, and they were not in the song.
Like me too, I'm here, so.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when I got there, I said, "Hey, and I made them about, you know." And that day I had to make sure I do my best. Yeah, sure.
Let me find out this. Most people do not understand the music business. But I have watched you from afar and you understand the music business.
Right.
Recently, you had a little issue over an endorsement deal that you had done, which term had expired, but the person or the partner in question was still using your image to advertise their stuff. And it started as a joke. You said, you can't do this. I'm taking it on. I'm going to court. I'm going to fight what is mine. People thought, oh, this is a 9-day wonder. It's not going to happen. And amazingly, it wasn't just like that. It didn't happen. But eventually, you got your justice. The court proved that, yes, he's right. You had a contract. If it has expired and you want to continue to use him, you have to pay him to do that. But if you're not paying him and you've paid somebody else, you cannot use his image. And you were awarded some money.
Yeah.
How much?
Oh, I was asking for 500K a token. And so I was awarded like 300K.
It's not bad.
We'll take it like that. It's first time in our industry. So.
Yes, it's never happened in our industry. So for you to be able to push such an agenda, that means that if you're given the capacity as a president of Musica or any of our music wings, you can really fight for musicians.
Do
you have an eye to be president of the Musica?
I remember the days I just couldn't go to the gym because it was that time of the month. Yas extra long sanitary pad took the worry away easy.
Yes, comfort, I got. Yes, confidence, I got. Yes.
The new Yas extra long sanitary pad is the joy of every woman. It is extra absorbent and fits perfect. Don't allow anything to hold you back when it's that time.
Wow.
Yes.
Feel confident, stay fresh.
Hi. Is it supposed to be that time of the month?
Yes. Yes, confidence, I got.
Yes.
We got yes protection, I got.
Yas extra long sanitary pad for extra comfort.
We got yes protection.
We're looking for you, the next millionaire. We know of your stressful routine. From those 12-hour flights across the Atlantic to your hustle through traffic every day. From burning the midnight oil to that laptop that never sleeps. We know where you are in life and we know where you want to go. Let us take you there. Thinking investment? Think Dusk Capital. Dusk Capital. we see a millionaire in you.
Every day, I try to create something new. But I always remember my roots. Modern grooves meet traditional beats. That's how my music speaks. That's why I love my Lux. Traditional fragrance with a modern twist of floral beauty oil for soft, fragrant skin. My roots, my modernity. It's all a part of me.
I am Nandi Mateta. I am more than you can see, just like Lex.
This be Madame Rosa. I did for you. She be diva of all hairstylists. She knows say I did here.
Hello.
Hey, no problem. This one, it be cool chop cra. After all, I be Royal King Cracker, made with real milk butter and the goodness of wheat to keep you going. To all you busy bees, I did for you.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
I love to eat a tasty breakfast in the morning. Something delicious and healthy, filled with vitamins. That's my day right, makes me so bright. Keeps my body happy. Let me tell you about what I eat. It's my secret. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Wow! I say hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Hooch, crunchy, crunch, cornflakes. Crunchy!
You can really fight for musicians.
I
Do you
can.
have an eye to be president of the Musica?
I've always been a leader, because I've always been the one that who want to hold the torch and forge ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I single-handedly, like you said, took Ghana music to Nigeria. And not only that, I also did a lot, with Ghana music in terms of crossing over to the Americas and the UKs. I did my part. So I think I'm always that type of person that I always want to win something.
And I think you also opened the door of Ghana music to Nigerians.
Right. And not only that, at the age of 19, 20, I became the first vice regional chairman of the Greater Accra region at that age. So I still hold the title for that.
Wow.
And then I became the chairman. And currently I'm also on the board for GAMRO. Okay. So you know that I've been an industry person. Now you may ask why. Because, I had that opportunity to travel early, and I wasn't only thinking about the music. And every place that I stepped foot, there was one question that kept occurring. And that question was, where do you get your money? Mm-hmm. All the work, like when I perform at BBC, when I sing at BBC, they ask me, what's my code? Mm-hmm. What's my DNA? They're asking me some questions I don't know.
Are new to you.
I don't know. Like in my country, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So when I came to Ghana, I wanted to find out how I could restructure myself in that vein so that I could get the returns of the hard work that I'm putting in outside. And so I realized that there was Musica that was basically trying to take care of musicians when musicians take care of Musica.
Yeah.
So it's like you take care of yourselves
me, let me take care of you.
that mechanism.
Yeah.
And so I joined Musica, and then I went to copyright. I joined copyright, and then I joined, that was before GAMRO was what? COSGA. You see, just to know how, but then Musica was just a union, but COSGA, which could have done a lot, was like a failure, because they still couldn't have that reciprocal agreement for artists to get what they're performing, royalties from outside and all that, so that was like a big letdown. Yes, I can do it, but I'm not that interested.
But
I don't want to be the president.
If the opportunity is thrown.
If they give it to me on a silver platter, maybe I will not.
You not hesitate.
I will not hesitate, but I won't fight for it. I will never
go through the hassle.
myself to be voted for musical president. Never in my life. And then currently, I'm also a board member for GAMRO.
Wow.
Because I was also wondering. You see, there's this thing about musicians in our country. When they are in their prime, they forget that they have to fix the system, the setup, so that they can enjoy certain fruits of their labor. And the only way you can do that perhaps is through collection societies. So like Gamro. So if you can put Gamro and make Gamro well, then obviously all the performances people are going abroad to do here and there, hustling here and there, not only when they are old that they will enjoy, they will enjoy it now. You understand? Because now the online presence is more stronger. And so reciprocal agreements has also been signed by Gamro. So people should get involved. Like if you are young, you get involved and then you demand what belongs to you. That way, when you that's one thing I know in life. But I got to know all these things when I was educated about it. So I joined the PPL, the VPL in the UK, and I received, even up to today, 40 pounds, we have a two baby, 80 pounds, and you're like, okay, this, wow. Then they'll say they played your music in Wales. You know, they will give you the radio station, like, hey, Wales. It even helps you to track how far you are going as an artist. And sometimes I sit at the back of my computer, I'm like, God, you are amazing.
You're amazing.
Right.
So were you opening the doors of Ghana to Nigerians, for instance, to enjoy our market and looking at
I did
airplane?
not. No, let me say this. I did not open the door for Nigerians to come and enjoy our market. Like I was saying, I said...
It was a mutual agreement.
This is what I said. See, I realized that when I went to Nigeria for the first time...
I'm sure Ghanaians were not that popular.
No, they were. Because when I went, the car I sat in, I heard Dadalumba. And then I heard Philomena.
Okay.
And then they played Amachi Dede. See, I realized that they love our music because in the early 80s, Ghanaians took our life to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And what happened was that because of the coup d'etat, they couldn't perform in Ghana. So all the Nigerian bandsmen all the Ghanaian bandsmen went to Nigeria. As a matter of fact, even Fela came to stay in Kumasi for some years.
Yes.
See, so Ghana music is dawning on Nigerians. Now, this is what I did. When I took the new age music to them, they were already plantation boys, remedies and the rest doing the songs. But majority of them were doing copyright.
Yes,
like if you hear Celine Dion, then they will take the Celine Dion and re-sing. They call it remake. And then when you are hearing Celine Dion, then you will be no, this is not how the NI was. And you realize that it's a Nigerian artist who is trying to imitate Celine Dion. They were always doing that more. It was just a few of them, Daddy Shoki and the Plantation who were doing what we were doing, like the hip life.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I wanted to achieve, and I almost got close in achieving that, was getting them to call it hip life. You get it? If they had called it hip life, then we would have stayed on top.
On top.
Tony accepted the idea and he called his songs hip life. At some point, if a Nigerian wanted to record music, they had to come to Ghana.
Yeah.
And it provided jobs for our studios, our sound engineers, and everything. Stacey, don't get me wrong. That was the biggest thing ever that could happen to our music when you take over somebody's territory. But check this. When you do that, there should be follow-ups.
Yeah.
This is what Ghanaians like to do. They like to kill people who are exporting their music. They like to sideline them, like as if they don't exist. Ghanaians, we like to do that a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. If an artist starts from Ghana and he wants to blow, he wants to open up his tentacles. Once he starts exporting the music and Ghanaians know that, this guy is blowing up. People are coming from Kenya and the rest and talking about them. The industry people. I am one of the few people that I can go gay and talk about people freely because they have really hurt me by saying that, TikTok, maybe he doesn't respect, TikTok, he doesn't exist, we don't, in Ghana, we don't even book him. I'm telling you, there were award shows that I have sat down with you today and advised people about other artists in our country freely because I know that nobody can stop my shine once I'm working hard. So I can also talk about another person easily. And then I say, there is this man, they are all trying in Ghana. Go there, you see them. But when you go and you mention my name, they will take me out.
Yeah.
But you see the job I'm doing here. And I didn't know why they were doing that to me. Whether I was young and I was seeing the light early, or whether I was so powerful, I wasn't letting any nonsense pass all that. I don't know. And they did that to me a lot. And when they do that to you, I'm sure most musicians
you.
will testify to this. When they start doing that to you and you are not careful, then they start mouthing you and you start going down in your country. But the truth is, once you start killing people who are the visionaries, who have seen a vision and have not finished stamping the authority on it, and you kill them, the vision dies.
The vision is hanging.
And it returns to you. What happens is that once it returns, the people that were pushing the agenda hard and you've killed them, it will come and fall on you. If you put foundation down and you are building it, and then now you decide to hit the foundation hard, that the foundation will collapse, what will happen? Yeah. The foundation will collapse on the whole thing. And that's what happened to our music. Because when I was really hard pushing, people were chopping me. When VIP was making big waves, people were chopping them in Ghana. You understand? And that is the way they say Ghana is pulling down. It's everywhere. But Ghana is extreme. Because do you know what I noticed in Nigeria? After we took it there, I joined Storm. And then at some point, I was also in Kenny's music. What happened was that, this is what I realized. When Nigerians were going for MTV something or anything, they will make sure that if Two-Face was the flag at that time, because every time somebody should pop up, that one you can't stop it. So what they do is that if Two-Face popped up and went far, every time they will add Two-Face. Then they will add some new person who is coming that so everybody is hailing.
The person along.
Then they will add him. Check this out. If you like from today, start noticing that. Then what they will do is that once another year comes, somebody pops up and they are going somewhere, some international thing, they will add, but they will still add Two-Face just to keep the flag so that when you see Two-Face, Nigerians have come. In Ghana, it wasn't like that. If Take had done something great, because I was one of the first people that also performed at Big Brother Africa. Yeah. I'm the first, not one, I'm the first. And xenophobic attacks when we were looking for artists from all over Africa. I represented Ghana. But the truth is, after a while, I realized that when there is an opportunity, even when I'm going to look for the opportunity and they want to come to Ghana and take more, when they come to Ghana, me that I'm going to look for the thing, the Ghanaian industry is saying that I'm not functioning. Do you understand? So what are you doing? You are not adding up. You are killing and producing new ones. And that has been our culture.
But you have done something. Currently, you've collaborated with Kidi, with Kwame Eugene. Is it a special thing, or you feel without those collaborations, you're not going to be relevant?
Okay. Then again, this is what some people are saying, and sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I want to even cry, because you can imagine a whole Take, and now you want to tell Take that he's as useless that he has to collaborate to be relevant.
To be relevant.
And sometimes the way they speak of it, as if you never even existed. And that is the saddest part. Like I tell you, I'm so tough that these things don't get at me.
They don't break you.
Because I always see myself, hi, have you forgotten me? I'm the same guy from Dansoma. Me, I'm the same guy that did Kangaroo. Me, I'm the same guy that did Kwani, and my believing I am the same guy. I ain't changed. So forget what you're saying.
So I'm wrapping it up now, but 24 years running. What's your secret?
Hard work, perseverance, believe. Believe, Stacey. Believe. No matter what happens, just believe. Unless you decide you don't want to do it.
To believe.
Yes. And if you don't want to do it, it's up to you. You can change your agenda. But when you believe, Stacey, you'll be surprised what will come to you. When you attract goodness, you'll be surprised what will come to you. Most people let wet words get to them. And wet words are the words of evil. When people tell you you can't do something and you accept it because of the examples they are giving, it's because of where they are coming from. So their examples are looking bright in that capture.
Yeah.
But when you are seeing their example and you know where their example is coming from, you know that they are coming from that sets up, then you ignore it. And they will tell you sometimes that you are not a good listener.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be a good listener to be successful, because some of the words are so painful that they will break you. So what you do is that you observe, analyze, and do you believe. That's the secret. And pray if you're a Christian.
We'll keep praying. I love that belief.
A jip.
Rough. Take, before you go, I have something for you from our sponsor.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, I like gifts too. Just that I don't get gifts.
My gift too. So this is coming from Hooch Cornflakes.
Hey, nobody cornflakes.
Very cornflakes.
And some books, some Choco Pops. Choco Flakes.
So we have the Hooch Corn and Choco Flakes.
Wow.
Yeah, see our choice size book, and this is coming from Yas.
Hey, Akosia me hey. Akosia
Ofi. We do Andrufia ubenya samu.
Let me tell you.
Take, it's been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I really feel we can go on and on with this. You are content. And I pray that Ghanaians will get to understand where you're coming from. Give you the push that you deserve, and give every other artist the push they deserve.
Very important.
So that we can also go on those big platforms and fly high.
And the last thing I want Ghanaians to know, and I want to say it on your show, I want Ghanaians to know that if we are about 100 musicians, and there is about 50 hit songs in Ghana, and you have 5 performing, then we have a problem. You understand? Yeah. And I'll say this everywhere, because when it's time for awards, you will see that they will have their songs to fill in the spaces.
The spaces.
But where were all those artists when the shows were going on? We should cast our net wider. If we have big songs on the streets, in the studios and in the radio, when you're a promoter and you choose your choice finish, add 1 or 2 just to highlight. You never know what they can give you. That way we can grow. And I said this recently, and they think I want to say it because now. And I'm telling them, now should even be the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because now I've come to pop again. Actually, I've said it maybe 4 years.
Popping.
You see. But in life, you can't say things at certain times because you may not feel it. Yes. And you can't always keep mistakes. Right. So I'm saying it now. And I just want to say that let's make it happen. Ghanaians, let's make this happen.
It will happen. It will happen. Thank you very much. And I'm sure those of you watching at home, you've really had a fun moment on Restoration today. Thank you going out to our sponsors, La Palm Royal Beach Hotel, to Yas Washing Powder and Yas Sanitary Pad, Hooch Corn and Choco Flakes. To GTP, thank you very much. To Das Capital, your trusted investment partner. If you have any investment that you want to be safe with, just go to Dask and they would help you save whatever money that you have planned for something in the future. Thank you to Ophelia of ABS Collection, Dansoman Zodiac for my outfit. To Roji One Hair Studio, Dakuman Kokompe Eye Clinic. Roji, thank you very much for my locks. I'm really loving it. To Abiba Locks East Legon near the ANC shopping mall. Thank you for styling my locks. To Divine Cassie. Divine, thank you so much for my makeup. And my shoes is by Divas Trends. Yeah, you're checking my shoes. Divas Trends is located at Christian Village near the Melcom. If you're watching us, always do remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We'll see you same time next week. I'm Stacey.
Welcome to the end of the tunnel. I see a bright light shining through, and it's just for you.